Aloha. I'm not gonna keep the sunglasses on the whole thing. This looks fucking stupid. So here's the thing. Lilo and Stitch is a very important film for me. It's my favorite Disney film, it's probably my favorite animated film ever, and it's more than likely one of my favorite films ever made, period. Sure, there are probably a lot of films out there that, objectively speaking, are better than it, but there aren't too many films out there that I resonate with as much as this movie. Its themes just hit me in a way that it's hard to really explain. And, we all know what the themes are. They say it throughout the movie. Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind or forgotten, and something about that just hits with me. To sort of drive this point home as much as possible, before I went to the theaters to watch the remake, I sat down and rewatched the original for the first time in a couple of years, and I almost cried 3 times. Once during Aloha Oi, once during Stitch's Lost scene, and once during Stitch's little speech at the end. Call me a bitch, and you're probably right, but this movie just means that much to me. I say all this to hopefully explain why, even though I generally try and keep these videos a bit chill, I might get a little mad in this video. This movie just means the world to me, and I fucking hated getting to see it destroyed. I don't think I need to give too much of an explanation for backstory or production, because we all know what the hell's going on here. Disney wanted some extra money and decided to dig up a corpse. At first glance, it seems as though this movie has basically the same story as the original, but like a rotten onion, peel back that first layer, and you see all of the waste underneath. All of the basic plot points that you would expect are there. Stitch is an alien who crash lands on Earth, is being hunted down by Jamba and Pleakley, and ends up being adopted by Lilo and becomes a member of this clearly damaged family. Throughout the film, they all bond, and Stitch learns the importance of Ohana, which means family, which means that no one gets left behind or forgotten. There are a couple of pretty easy to notice changes. For example, Gantu, the main antagonist of the original, isn't in this movie at all. It's Jamba who's hunting him down at the end and has to be defeated. Apparently, the reason— oh my god, I'm wearing green. I just fucking realized that this Hawaiian shirt I'm wearing is green. You fucking idiot. Hold on. Yeah, maybe I could trick it. I'm not re-recording all of that with the new outfit. You're just gonna have to buy it. Yeah, that stands out enough, hopefully. If I'm just partially translucent for the rest of this fucking video, then so be it. It's an alien power, ooh. Okay, where the fuck was I again? Oh, right. Apparently, the reason why they ended up having to do that is because the budget was too small to include him. They wouldn't have been able to afford animating him. And to that I say, if you cannot afford to have one of the main characters of the original in a remake, maybe you shouldn't fucking do it. Outside of that though, like I said, the film does basically follow the beats of the original. It just feels more hollow because of the fucking characters. Before I get into the characters, I do want to make one thing very clear, and that is that I do not want to give any hate towards the actors specifically. I think they all did a fine job, especially Maya Keola. I have it over there. Maya Keola. We're gonna go with Maya Keola. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. She's just a little girl, and she did a dang fine job for her age. I think that she could emote well, she got the lines out well, it was fine. It was completely fine. Same goes for the rest of the actors. They all did a very serviceable job given what they were given. It is not the actor's fault that this movie sucks, it's the writing. Lilo herself as a character is handled pretty decently. She just kind of feels like a more sanitized version of the original. There's a lot less of that bite to her. She's not practicing voodoo, she doesn't beat up kids who are being bitches to her. She just kind of looks sad and pushes them a couple of times. That's about it. Definitely a lot less impactful, doesn't really feel as realistic. I have spent probably half of my nephew's life with him at this point. I can absolutely tell you that the original Lilo, that's just how kids act. That is completely accurate. Stitch is in very much the same boat, but just a lot worse. They really sandpaper him down. He is almost never an asshole, which is the whole reason why he was fun, and also why he had such a good character arc. He pretty much immediately likes Lilo. I think there's one scene where he's a little bit catty to her, and that's about it. Definitely nowhere near the asshole that he was in the original. He is friends with Lilo for, I'm gonna say, 90 to 85% of this movie. Jamba and Pleakley, wow, they really fuck them up. Pleakley is made into just this generic idiot who's smiling and not, the fun character that he was in the original. They add in this little obsessed with Earth quirk that he just kind of has throughout the film. It doesn't really do anything. There's no real reason why it's there except to just make the ending a bit less cruel to him, which Just kind of makes it less fun. I like that at the end of the original, the aliens just straight up abandon them.
Don't let those two get on my ship.
Jamba is pretty much completely different. His personality is different, his voice is different, his look is horrible. I know that that's not necessarily a change, that's just sort of a thing, but fuck man, he looks horrible. He's supposed to be the film's antagonist, but he doesn't really have that much of a presence to him. He's just kind of there, he's a goofball throughout most of the film, and then at the end he just kind of takes control because they had to change the script near the end. What it really feels like to me is they originally had a script where Gantu was the main antagonist, but when they figured out that they couldn't include him anymore because of the budget, instead of rewriting the entire script, they just found like the third act, cut that part off, and changed it from that point on. Because there's no real build-up to Jamba being an antagonist in the same sense. He still feels like the same character, kinda, just a bit less charming, a bit more annoying, which is everyone else in this film now that I think about it. But my point is, it doesn't feel like they retooled the script enough to really make him feel like an antagonist. They just sort of threw him in at the end because they needed someone to be the bad guy, right? It's not like the bad guy could just be the circumstances of the situation. I'm getting hopped up on Poppy. I'm gonna be fucking bouncing off the walls in this video. My poor boy David just got completely fucked. In the original, he acted as a sort of personification of what Nani is sacrificing in order to be there for Lilo. He is someone who has a crush on her, she clearly likes him back, but she can't really reciprocate right now because there's just a lot going on. But he's still a good guy, he clearly cares about the sisters, he lifts their spirits when he can, he even tries to help Nani get a job at the end. Well, forget all that, let's just make him a fuckboy. In the remake, David is that sort of, I think you're pretty cool girl that I like stereotype. You know, the one, he can't even really talk to Nani, he just keeps stumbling over his words, much like me in this video. Nani doesn't even really feel like she likes him back, so it just kind of sucks the whole relationship out of the film. But also, he doesn't really do anything. All the things he did in the original are just done by other people, so I don't know why he's even in this movie. Cobra Bubbles, the ex-CIA CPS agent, is sort of split into two different characters. There is a Cobra Bubbles CIA agent who's this sort of generic guy. He doesn't really have that same presence that he did in the original. He's just kind of like, I have to be the one to get the aliens, I gotta get them. And at the end he's like, well, I guess you have my word that the alien secret will not get out. And then that's the whole thing. And then there's the other Child Protective Service agent who's just really nice. Now, I'm sure most CPS agents are really nice and try to be nice to people, especially in Nani's situation, but fuck, man, that's just not interesting. You know, in the original, Bubbles is a big, tough guy. He looks like he could fucking snap all of our characters in half. Not to say Mr. Bubbles... Mr. Bubbles. Now, that's not to say that Mr. Bubbles didn't have sympathy for Nani or Lilo or their whole situation. He did. He just knew that this situation had to be taken very seriously. He is the man that they call when things go wrong, and things have gone very wrong. Here, the social worker is just all sunshine and rainbows and very nice to Nani, and she says, well, here's a list of things you gotta do by the end of the week, and if you manage to get that done, then you can have Lilo. And it's just fucking, it doesn't come across like there's a threat at all. You know, in the original film, the threat felt threatening. You know, oh my god, they're gonna split fucking Nani and Lilo in half. That's not what happens. Oh my god, they're gonna split up Nani and Lilo. That's horrible. These two sisters need each other. And this big tough guy is gonna rip them apart. And then we see throughout the film, oh no, there's a bit more layers to him than we thought. That's called good writing. Fuck that, I guess. The original hooks you in, and then it shows more depth. That's good writing. I already said that. I'm probably keeping that whole rant in, but fuck it. You can tell that I am starting to break down already, because it's time to talk about Nani! The original Nani is a wonderful character. She is practically a child, 18 years old, who has been thrust into this horrible situation and yet is doing everything she can to keep up that face and make it as easy as possible for Lilo, which is not only incredibly admirable, but we also see, again, how much she's giving up. Her relationships, her time, she is giving everything for Lilo because she cares about her that much, because Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. She's putting in long hours at shit jobs. She's bringing her sister to her work because she can't find any other way to watch her. The only reason why they even go to the dog pound to begin with is because Nani overhears Lilo wishing for a friend on a star, and she wants to make her happy. The original Nani is a wonderful character and even a great role model for people who are unfairly thrust into horrible circumstances. New Nani's a fucking bitch! I do not feel bad saying that. This character, whoa boy, I don't know what the fuck I mean, I do know what they were thinking, and we'll get to that, but they have made her so much colder. And you might say, but that's more realistic for an 18-year-old. We're dealing with a movie where an alien crash lands on Earth and pretends it's a dog. We're not in the realms of reality here. Who gives a shit? Give us a character that we can root for, that we like, and acts as a good role model for the people watching. In the original, they make it very clear why Nani is going through all of these hoops for Lilo. Not just because she is her sister, but because she realizes that Lilo needs a rock at this moment because she is adjusting horribly to the fact that their parents, just died. And she's right, because by the end of the original, you realize that the threat of the film isn't just the two sisters being split up, it's basically Lilo's mental stability. Nani is the only reason why Lilo is coping with this death at all. Take her out of the picture, Lilo is fucked. In the remake, it almost feels like Nani doesn't really care about Lilo at all. She's only doing this because she is her sister, not for the actually important reason. I just have to talk about this one scene. Do you remember the scene of the original? Maybe you haven't seen it, but you've probably at least seen the meme of it, where Stitch gets his finger put in the record player, the mouth opens up, and he's playing Elvis. And it's just a sort of funny, cute little scene to sort of say, hey, this guy is a weird alien, and that's it. Well, they do a scene like that in the remake, but instead of Nani seeing it and being like, oh, that's kind of weird, she doesn't see it at all. She's not paying attention. She's on her fucking phone. And that's the sort of shit that I'm talking about, where throughout the entire film, Nani does not take any sort of guidance role for Lilo at all. She's just kind of keeping her for some reason. I don't fucking know why. Oh God. I feel my brain melting. I don't understand why the character of Nani in the remake is going through all of this for Lilo beyond the fact that, Ohana is everything, except it's not. She goes through a whole I just remembered this. She goes through a whole fucking, monologue. I'm gonna try and fucking find it, where she's like, Ohana doesn't mean everything, you idiot child. Come on, welcome to the real world, jackass. It's like, oh my God.
Why are you trying to go against what Mama and Papa said?
Because we were left behind. I know. All that stuff sounds so nice. It sounds really nice to me too, but that is not reality. This is reality. And I need you to start living in it with me.
My drink of that is getting more aggressive as the fucking video goes on. Oh, there's also a grandma character now. David has his mother, and she's just kind of there. The only thing that she really does is that she's the one who brings Lilo to the adoption center. Not because of the wish, just because. Just because. Because Nani doesn't give a shit about the fact that her sister made that wish. She doesn't do anything about that. She just kind of moves on. God damn, I fucking hate this movie. Let's talk about the effects really quick. They're shit, as you would probably expect. They're okay when it's a fully animated film at the start. You're sort of able to trick yourself in a way. And Stitch throughout the film looks pretty decent, honestly. But by God, Jumba and Pleakley, wow. What the fuck? They just look horrible, man. It's probably why they're not in the movie that much. See, instead of using the whole disguises that they do in the original, that was this sort of cute, funny little thing, no. What they do is they just have the actors play the characters. That doesn't make any sense. What I'm trying to say is that instead of being fully CGI throughout the film, they have these sort of cloaking devices that they sort of pat on their hip, and then they just sort of find these two random guys and just assume their identity, which is weird. They're staying in a hotel, and then they assume identities of other people also in the hotel. I was thinking that would play into something, that would be like, oh, they get discovered because there's two people here and it becomes a whole thing. No, it's just sort of not throughout the entire film. It's not right now. Can you tell I didn't script this video? Alright, well now in order to stall for time before I talk about the ending, I'm just going to go through some of the other notes in this that I haven't really had time to fully make a section about. So call this miscellaneous. Faster pace. Oh my God, how did I fucking miss that? The pacing in this movie is terrible. They blitz through this movie. I don't know how the fuck it's 20 minutes longer, because it felt like it was half an hour. I cannot underestimate, almost every line is back to back. There's almost no dead space at all, which makes the film just a fucking disaster to watch. I felt nauseous almost at some points. It felt like I was watching a I don't use TikTok. I felt like I was watching a fucking TikTok compilation. It was insane. Is that what Disney meant when they said they want the live-action Hercules to be inspired by TikTok? God damn, I fucking hope not. They play Uptown Funk at one point, and it just feels so out of place because the rest of the film keeps the Elvis and tropical soundtrack, so it just feels really fucking weird. So confusing. Right. For some reason, everything that just kind of happened in the original needs an extra, like, 5 steps. It's just kind of annoying. For example, I kind of mentioned it early on. When they go to the pound in this movie, in the original, it's very simple how it goes. Nani overhears Lilo praying on a shooting star for a friend. She decides, next scene, we're gonna go to the dog pound and get you a friend. Here, they do that whole thing, and then we cut to the next scene, and Lilo is with Grandma in the market, I guess, just kind of fucking around, and she sees the pound, and she's like, hey, can I go see the dogs? And Grandma's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I wrote down, just kind of in the middle of the film, forgive my handwriting, it was fucking dark in there, but I just wrote down, aloha oy vey. I guess that's just something funny I thought up while I was in there. They killed my boy twice. They have a weird fake-out death scene near the end for Stitch, which I don't know why they did it. It kind of just accomplishes the same thing that the almost arrested thing does at the end of the film, which just kind of makes it pointless. The only real thing of note besides that is that... oh boy, this is gonna make me seem like an asshole, but I don't fucking care. Near the end of the film, like I said, there's a scene where Stitch does like this weird fake-out death, where, you know, he can't swim, that's a big thing about him. And so he's drowning, and he's holding on to Lilo, who's trying to save him, and he's like, goodbye, and just kind of falls down into the water. And when that happened, there was like a poor 4-year-old boy. The only noise I heard throughout the entire fucking theater was just this kid going, Stitch! He screamed it so loud. And I want to stress, there was no other noise throughout the theater. That's a minor note for this as well. I sat in the very back because I didn't want to be seen, because I'm a fucking 23-year-old watching Lilo and Stitch. But right as the movie started, a whole family of like 6 people came in and sit next to me. And like most of them were kids. And obviously I wasn't looking at them, but I could just hear there was no laughter, there was no noise, there was nothing coming from them. They were just stone-faced at this fucking theater throughout the entire thing. And that was most of the families. Outside of that kid screaming, I think there were like 3 times where a couple of kids laughed. It's actually kind of amazing how much the kids hated this movie. Alright, I'm clearly just rambling now. You can tell I'm rambling. I'm just trying to avoid getting to it, but fuck it, let's just fucking get into this shit. The ending! So, that ending, huh? Before I get to the ending proper, let me go through a quick little story of something that happened the day I was going to the theater. So I was sitting around waiting for my ticket time. I think it was after I watched the original, and I was just kind of idly browsing the internet when I saw a tweet that just completely spoiled the ending of the film. And by God, was I nervous. To the point, I started going into actual denial. I could not believe that that was real. I was just telling myself, no, this is some Twitter rage bait, or he's just not explaining it right. There's no way that that's how the movie ends. And throughout the entire time I was in this theater, I was just sort of sitting there in the dark with this shadow looming over me, slowly creeping in more and more. And you can see it in my notes. They're on the ground. I'm not going to fucking bend over and pick them up. But slowly, I just sort of start saying, no, don't do it. Something along those lines, just because I don't know, I'm extra like that. So, like I said, the film mostly follows the beats of the original. The aliens come by, they take Stitch, they're about to arrest him. He gives this whole speech about how Ohana means family. This is his family. It's small and broken, but still good. And I just started getting a little angry as the film kept going after that scene ended. We're now at Nani and Lilo's house, fully destroyed. Whew. So, some people have been saying that at the end of this film, Nani gives Lilo up to CPS. And that's not entirely true. The reality is worse. So throughout the whole fucking movie, there's this sort of through line happening that I didn't bring up until now, that Nani isn't just giving up David and just a normal, healthy life. She's giving up college. She wanted to go to college to be a marine biologist. She got full acceptance, but because her parents' death, she couldn't go. And, you know, that whole grandma character, remember her? She keeps telling her, hey, you should go to college. You should go be a smart little girl. And so halfway through the film, Nani and Lilo and David all go surfboarding, which is Nani's new job, by the way. It's not just a nice thing that David did. She just found a job, and it's surfboards instructor. So cool. But they all go surfing. Lilo almost drowns, just like the original, and she's fine. But then they have to go to the hospital, and Nani can't cover the medical bill. So the CPS agent is like, you know, if you give Lilo up, we can cover it for you. And so then they have this scene near the end where Nani is sadly about to give Lilo up, and then, oh my god, she's gone, and the big climax happens, and everything goes off like I said. Stitch gives a speech, and the family is reunited, and I thought for a split second that's what they were talking about in the tweet. That, oh, they're upset that Nani even considered the idea, and yeah, that's it. That's what I was thinking. But then, the grandma comes back. Nani just gives up. She says, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to college. Bye, Lilo. You can go live with the grandma, I guess. And that's it. That's how they fucking do it. And you know, in concept, right? If I look at this in terms of reality, yes, I would probably tell her to do that. If this was a real situation where an 18-year-old and her 6-year-old daughter are now parentless and they have this whole fucking family over there that they like, yes, do that. Go enjoy your scholarship, learn something, maybe make a good life for her. The problem is that this is Lilo and fucking Stitch. The original movie, it so beautifully goes through this very, very compelling and just emotionally resonant story about the importance of family above everything else. And the fact that at the end they basically say, fuck it, college is more important than family, that sort of drives me up the fucking wall. But that's not the worst part. That's not the reason why this makes me so actually mad. The thing that sort of twists that dagger, that just really makes it fucking hurt what the hell they're doing here, is it's not the grandma that convinces Nani. It's not Pleakley. It's not Stitch. It's not David. It's fucking Lilo. Lilo tells Nani to give her up. That's how the movie ends. It ends with Lilo saying, Nani, you should go. Go, ignore family. Fuck Ohana. That's what... God fucking damn it. I'm actually mad now. Congratulations. You're getting the angry YouTuber now, fuckers. I am a firm believer in the mantra, never ascribe to malice that which can be adequately explained through incompetence. Or in other words, most people aren't evil, they're just fucking stupid. I am clinging to that right now. I have to assume that this is an act of pure incompetence of an astronomical degree to just completely miss the point of the original. Because if I don't, then the only other option is that this was done intentionally. And I do not have the fucking mental fortitude to deal with that bullshit. If I was like 5% more autistic, I would absolutely be on that train. That's how fucking close I am right now. But I'm going to take the rational path. This is just someone who is so fucking stupid. They just completely missed the point of the original. And by God, they fucked it up. That's the only way I can take this. God damn it. No one would think, who actually understood the original, that this is a better ending for the remake. Here's what had to happen. Here's what had to happen. This is what I'm fucking clinging to. You can have your whole Disney fucking hates family values conspiracy theory. This one's mine. This is what has to be the case. The writers of the film, they were like, we have to change something. We can't just have it be the exact same film. So what about we change the ending? We give a little bit of a different. That's the whole reason. They just wanted to be different. So they changed that. And then every fucking problem with the film sort of worked backwards from that. That's why Nani is so weirdly out of character. Because they have to cushion this blow. That's why the grandma character exists. Now fucking Lilo has to go somewhere. You can't just give her to the state. Don't worry. You could just fucking give him to your grandma. But, God damn it. They didn't think about the fact that just sucks all of the stakes out of the movie. That's something I haven't even been able to fucking talk about yet because I didn't want to talk about this ending until now. But if the grandma is able to take Lilo, why is there even a fucking problem here? The whole fucking point of the original, Nani and Lilo are alone. They are the only two. I guess there's David there for Nani, but no one's there for Lilo. That's the whole fucking point. And if they're split up, then Lilo is fucked. Fuck that, I guess. Just go live with Grandma. Who cares? Yeah, sure, you can fucking have the point at the end where Nani gets a portal gun and just sort of warps back and forth to Hawaii, because fuck it. But God, that's not the point. The point isn't that Nani can see Lilo, it's that the family has been separated. Lilo does not have that rock anymore. You have split the Ohana that was stitched together. Do you get it, you fucking idiots? I guess Ohana doesn't mean jack shit. God, I'm actually mad. This is me actually mad. I'm not doing a bit. I'm just fucking mad right now. Oh my God, I gotta calm down. Give me a sec. I'm gonna get my cat. All right, this is Rascal. He'll be here. Oh, you're not having a good time. All right. Rascal doesn't want to be a part of this video. Probably for the best. He'd just start screaming anti-Semitic rants. Anyways. Now you like being held, don't you, you little bastard? Not when I need you on camera for a bit. However, I love you too. Come here, you. Let's talk about why I even did this to begin with. I have had multiple people, after explaining how bad this movie is, ask me, why the fuck would you even watch it to begin with? You knew this was gonna be bad. You knew this was going to be bad, and you sat your ass down and you watched it anyways, and you gave Disney money for it. Why would you do that? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm an idiot. Number two, morbid curiosity. I just had to know, how badly could they fuck this up? It's such a simple story. How could they fuck it up this bad? And they exceeded any expectations that I had. I thought the worst would be an added subplot. Not this. And thirdly, for years now, not necessarily on this channel, but just in, my normal life, I have decried the live-action Disney remakes, as everyone else has, for good reason. They are all shit, but I didn't really get the experience of seeing something that I loved just be completely ruined before your eyes. Not to say I don't like any other Disney films, but I don't really give as much of a shit if Aladdin or The Lion King have bad remakes, because I don't really emotionally resonate with them anywhere near the same level as Lilo and Stitch. I just kind of had to know what all of the people who did were going through, a sort of amount of empathy, if you will, and just, again, morbid curiosity. By God, I cannot express enough how much this has completely exceeded my expectations as to how horrible a live-action Disney remake could be. And of course, the one that everyone hates, the one that is, the fucking everyone agrees is probably the worst, is the one that means the most to me. That's great. That's life. So is there any real positive takeaway from this? Maybe. I guess I could say that it made me appreciate the original a little more, seeing how bad this story could have been. That's kind of a silver lining, though, a hollow victory, a Pyrrhic victory, because in order to get that, I had to spend almost 2 hours watching something that I love just be raped in front of me. Fuck Disney, and fuck this movie. I'm Surf Strongman, and that was the thing. Can's empty. See ya, losers.